You are holding an egg in your hand. It was laid 14 months ago. No refrigerator ever touched it. No freezer, no power, no electricity of any kind. And when you crack it into the pan, the yolk stands up tall and orange, exactly like the morning the hen laid it. That egg has been sitting in a clay crock in a Mennonite pantry in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, the whole time. The families there kept food this way for more than 200 years, through summers that hit 95 degrees and winters that drop below zero. And they have never paid an electric company a single cent to do it. The method that keeps that egg fresh costs about $15. The food industry has known about it since before your grandparents were born. And somewhere around 1930, they made sure you forget it ever existed. You said that is fine for vegetables. But what about the rest of it? What about eggs? What about real food through a long winter? So I drove back out to Lancaster County to find out. And what I found in those pantries goes deeper than I expected. All the way back to a circular published by an agricultural college in 1917 that flatly stated this was already old news. But before I show you the egg method, I need to tell you about a refrigerator that was shipped to the North Pole and why that one stunt tells you everything about how this knowledge vanished. Stay with me. Even if you live in an apartment, even if you have never grown a single thing, because the heart of this works on a shelf in a closet. Here is the number that changes everything. 6 to 8 feet beneath your house. The ground stops caring what season it is. It locks into a steady temperature and holds it all year, summer and winter, day and night. Across most of the United States, that underground temperature settles between 50 and 55 degrees. The agricultural extension services at universities from Missouri to Alaska have measured it and published it for decades. 55 degrees, free, 24 hours a day, sitting under every home in the country, doing absolutely nothing. Now think about what your refrigerator does. It runs a compressor, forces chemical refrigerant through coils, and burns electricity around the clock to hold about 38 degrees. The earth gives you nearly the same coal for the price of digging. A properly built root cellar takes that 55-degree ground, uses cold winter air to chill it down in the fall, and holds between 32 and 40 degrees with humidity near 90%. That is the exact range the Department of Agriculture recommends for apples, carrots, beets, cabbage, and potatoes. The only power it might ever need is a single light bulb near the floor on the coldest nights. Not a compressor, a light bulb. But cold is only half the story, and it is the half most people stop at. The Mennonites did not. Because cold slows decay, it does not stop it. To lock food for a full year, you have to change the chemistry. So bacteria simply cannot live in it. And that is where the egg comes in. And where a powder you can buy for a few dollars does something a refrigerator cannot do at all. This is older than anyone selling you an appliance wants to admit. Long before electricity, every culture that survived a winter arrived at the same handful of answers, completely independently. The Romans packed eggs in salt and bran. Chinese households preserved them in lime and ash for months, a practice still alive today. Across northern Europe, farm families submerged fresh eggs in a solution that sealed the shell completely, then pulled them out fresh a year later. Cabbage became sauerkraut, where lactic acid turns a vegetable acidic enough to preserve itself for months in a cool crock. Milk became cheese, which is really just milk engineered to survive. None of this was folklore. This was the applied chemistry of every civilization that needed to eat in February, refined over thousands of years. When the Mennonites and their neighbors carried these methods from Switzerland and Germany to Pennsylvania 300 years ago, they were not bringing quaint tradition. They were bringing the most tested food technology on Earth. So, how did a whole country forget all of it in a single generation? Not with a ban, with something quieter and far more effective. In 1927, General Electric released the first home refrigerator that actually worked, the Monitor Top. It cost around $520, the price of new Ford, which in today's money is roughly $7,000. Almost nobody could afford one. In 1930, only one home in 10 owned a refrigerator at all. So the industry did not wait for people to want them. It manufactured the want. What followed was one of the most aggressive marketing campaigns in American history. General Electric stage parades. They built a neon sign you could read from 3 miles away. They ran special railroad cars across the country to show off the machines. In 1928, they shipped a refrigerator to the North Pole as a publicity stunt. In 1931, they handed the millionth unit to Henry Ford on a live radio broadcast. In 1935, they funded a nearly hour-long Technicolor film with real Hollywood stars, whose entire purpose was to make you feel that a home without a refrigerator was a home that had failed. And it worked. Despite the Great Depression, manufacturers sold 10 million refrigerators in the 1930s. By 1940, more than half of American homes had one. Here is the part that never made it into the advertisements. A refrigerator is not a one-time purchase. It is a permanent line on your electric bill, and a machine you replace every 15 years for the rest of your life. The root cellar and the crock ask for nothing once they are built. The refrigerator asks for money every single month, forever. The pantry was never outlawed. It was simply made to feel old, backward, something only people who could not afford better still relied on. And within 20 years, the knowledge that fed this continent for centuries was gone from the average kitchen. Not because it stopped working, but because there is no profit in a method that only costs you once. The Mennonites never got that memo, and they never wanted it. They watched the parades and the radio broadcasts, and they kept their crocks and their cellars exactly where they were, not out of stubbornness, but because they could see the math the advertising was built to hide. A community that owes nothing to a power company cannot be squeezed by one. They kept the knowledge the way they keep everything, quietly at the kitchen table, handed from a grandmother to a daughter, without anyone writing a check. While the rest of the country plugged in, they simply kept doing what already worked. Now, if you're sitting in a house or an apartment thinking this is only for people with farms and root cellars, stay with me, because this next part is built for you, and you can start it this week. Begin with the eggs, because it is almost unbelievably simple. You need food-grade pickling-lime, which is calcium hydroxide. You will find it in the canning section of most stores for a few dollars a bag. You mix 1 ounce of pickling-lime into 1 quart of cool water, and that ratio never changes no matter how big a batch you make. Stir it until it dissolves. Then gently lower in fresh, clean, unwashed eggs, point end down, and keep adding eggs as you collect them until the jar is full, with the liquid covering them by at least an inch. Seal the lid and set it in a cool, dark closet. That is the entire process. The lime makes the water so alkaline that no bacteria can survive in it, and it seals the pores of the shell. Those eggs stay good for 12 to 18 months, and people who have done it for years report eggs still fresh at 2. About 16 eggs fit in a half-gallon jar. When you want one, you reach to the bottom for the oldest, rinse the lime off completely, and cook it like it was laid that morning. For everything else, you do not need to dig under your house. A cool basement corner, an unheated closet against the north wall, even a clean barrel buried on its side in a shaded bank will hold close to root cellar temperature. Keep your apples and pears in their own seal box, because they give off a gas that sprouts your potatoes early. Pack carrots and beets in damp sand. Turn cabbage into sauerkraut in a simple crock. None of it touches your electric bill. None of it ever breaks down. And the total cost to start is 1 bag of lime and a few glass jars. But stay right here, because what one family in Ohio keeps in a hand-dug pantry the size of a closet is a part almost nobody talks about, and it feeds a household of 10 through an entire winter. And if part of you still thinks this is just nostalgia, look at who is doing it right now. In Sweden and Norway, modern homes are still built with a cold pantry designed into the wall, a ventilated cabinet that uses outside air to chill food without a single watt. Across rural Eastern Europe, the buried cellar never went away. Lime-preserved eggs are still sold in Chinese markets by the millions. These are not museum pieces. They are living systems, used by people who simply never accepted that the only way to keep an egg is to plug something in. In 1917, an agricultural college wrote that preserving eggs at home was already old, settled knowledge. In 1927, a $500 machine arrived to replace it. By 1940, the marketing had won, and half the country had quietly traded a method that costs nothing to maintain for a bill that never ends. But the ground under your house does not care about advertising. It still sits at 55 degrees. The The lime in that jar still works exactly the way it worked 200 years ago. The Mennonites did not invent this, and they did not hide it. They just refused to throw it away when a salesman told them to. The knowledge was never lost. It was only made to feel embarrassing, and that was enough. Now you have it back. Before you go, I want one thing from you. Open whatever cabinet your food sits in right now, and tell me in the comments what you paid for the last electric bill that kept it cold. Just a number, nothing else. I read every single one. And if you are the kind of person who believes real knowledge has been quietly pushed aside so someone could keep selling you something, then you already know what to do. Subscribe, because in the next video, I'm going to show you the Mennonite spring house, a way to keep milk and butter cold all summer using nothing but moving water, and a reason inspectors spent decades trying to shut it down.